Behind the Cape. Did you see the nice new little intro instead of the old one? Figured it'd be nice to add a little pizzazz.
Are those jazz hands?
I didn't do the whole thing.
Just kind of much. Bring it on.
Okay. Anyway, we can definitely talk about Dune 2 and the trailer for it.
Okay. Yeah,
which I did not see, but
would you like to?
I didn't see Dune 1, so.
Okay. Anyways, if we were, which I'm going to, put up Dune and the prospects of what we're going to get out of that franchise versus what is on the horizon for Lucasfilm. And I do that because these are two franchises that are loosely based on, the same source, according to Lucas and the creator of Dune alike. One is driving a very exciting concept that is preceding a movie that, while it didn't kill at the box office, right in the middle of the pandemic in 2021, though, so, we'll put a caveat on that, put enough interest into the fandom to be anticipating the sequel. And this trailer did not disappoint. I am so excited for this movie to come out this summer. I am so excited. I can't wait. Literally cannot wait. What's dude's name? Timothée Chalamet.
Hi, I'm Timothy and I play Laurie.
Timothée Chalamet?
It's supposed to be Timothée, but that always just seemed like too obnoxious a requirement to put on people. So Timothy, Timmy,
After
Doug,
your third
Max,
Oscar,
Alex.
you can go back to Timothée.
Timothée Chalamet.
Chalamet?
Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet, 18 ans.
Huh?
Timothée Chalamet, 18 ans.
Chalamet.
Ew.
Timothée Chalamet.
Ew.
We should hire Webby to say his name.
I feel like that would cost a lot of money.
Timothée Chalamet. Ooh, y'all got some names on y'all.
Chalamet. Y'all got some names on that now.
Dune 2 looks awesome. Dune 2 looks great.
Moving on to DC, the people behind The Flash seem to think that the movie is going to be so good that it's going to make people forget anything that Ezra Miller had going on,
folks,
during filming.
Are we sure that Ezra Miller's out of the door after The Flash? Because I'm telling y'all, man, every time they open up their mouth to speak about Ezra Miller, it sounds a whole hell like, we think this is going to make money, so please give him another chance. Just watch the movie first, okay? Watch the movie and then decide. Is what it feels like. Doesn't feel like, hey, we're very excited for this movie. We really want it to go well. We want to keep the focus on that. Thank you. Which is what it should be. Hey, our focus is really on The Flash and really telling people about this movie and make sure they come out to see it. We know they're going to love it. We really hope that you and your family enjoy it. Come out and see it June, Thank you. That should be the communication. Not, hey, you know what? I'll tell you something else, goddammit. This goddamn Flash movie, it's going to make everybody forget about Ezra Miller and his crimes.
No, it's not.
No, it's going to make everybody forget. It's going to be so awesome, brother. It's going to be so awesome. They're going to forget about the kidnapping.
No, I'm not.
They're going to forget about the grooming and the Big Show choke slam on the woman. They're going to forget all about it, the breaking and entering, holding people against their will, threatening to kill them.
It's not how my mind works.
No, they're going to forget all about it, brother. I'll tell you what, that Ezra Miller, he might just win an Oscar. 2, since he's playing 2 versions of himself. Sheesh. It was such a daunting task.
Oh my God.
For him to play 2 versions of himself. That was the actual quote. That was the actual quote. It wasn't that Ezra Miller, had a hard time with all of his legal battles in the middle of filming this movie. No. Ezra Miller had a hard time because he had to play multiple characters in this movie. That was the difficulty that he overcame.
What is Ezra Miller, Heath Ledger now?
Fam. I've never seen so much cover. They're trying to get y'all on board with the idea that Ezra Miller is just Flash from now on. And maybe we should all just accept that because he's really sorry. And he's working on his issues.
Is he even sorry?
Who knew? Well, I haven't heard him say shit, so I don't know what he is. Or what they are. They're literally trying to get you on board with the idea. is what it feels like. I've long maintained that I feel like they were going to try their best to keep Ezra Miller because, again, they've invested so much money in him and in this movie, and for this movie to be good, they kind of have to like their star. They can't be at odds with their star and expect people to come out and see this movie. But in turn, when the movie does well, it's not like you can just turn your back on one of the only successes coming out of that studio or butcher it to the point that it's unrecognizable that when you try to reintroduce it to that same audience. You don't get to take the bag home and leave the lead actor at the altar. That's not how it goes, Black Panther. Or not the lead actor, excuse me, in Black Panther's case, the lead character is what I should say. So if they had chosen, which they should have, to put another new character in there, which they had an opportunity to do because this is a Flashpoint movie. It's a movie about time travel and alternate timelines and stuff like that. Maybe Barry looks different for some reason because of something that happened along the way. Millions of ways that you can explain why Ezra Miller now looks like Grant Gustin or whoever. You could have done it. You decided not to. It was cheaper to put a whole bunch of extra Batman stuff in there, Supergirl stuff, and, just roll with it. Okay, cool. What you could have done is made sure by the end of this Flash movie you had a new Flash to pivot to. And that way you could have just remained mum on all this Ezra Miller stuff. What it feels like you're doing is trying your best to make this movie successful. And if it is, you've already kind of massaged the idea of Ezra Miller staying around. That's how I feel about it. That's what I see.
That's just crazy. And I know we've made this parallel a million times, obviously, but just the fact that DC is willing to go to bat for their guy and Marvel is
I don't
pondering
think
on
it's a
whether or
personal thing, unless it's he's got a friend in Warner Brothers executives. But other than that, I really just think it's trying to remain profitable.
Yeah.
Trying not to stay on this wheel of stagnation for the superhero genre.
But in the
so
same
if the Flash
effect,
is going to break that monotony, you gotta kind of have to take the risk. I just don't feel like you have to commit yourself to Ezra Miller to do that.
But in the same effect, I feel like Marvel is pondering on whether or not they want to fire Jonathan Majors, who is a pivotal character in Phase 5.
Look at the stark difference between how the two are being handled. Warner Brothers can't stop talking about Ezra Miller. Mm-hmm. That's what makes me think they want to keep him. Because on the flip side, with Jonathan Majors and anybody who claims to have any information on it is telling you that they're trying to get away from him. They ain't said shit about Jonathan Majors. They haven't brought up his name. They ain't answered no questions. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Their outlets couldn't stop talking about Jonathan Majors before this stuff started happening.
Yeah.
That trial starts tomorrow.
Really?
May 8th.
Damn.
That trial starts tomorrow.
Damn.
Woo-wee. Damn. Oh, man. We're going to be in for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, even if they were still pondering, with the idea that Majors no longer being a part of the picture on the table, they haven't said anything. Mm-hmm. So for people to be telling me, well, now they're going to get rid of him after this movie, why are they talking about him so much? Marvel is faced with the same set of circumstances, not necessarily the same setup in terms of crimes or whatever,
same situation,
but the same situation. They're trying to figure out whether or not it's going to be feasible or tenable to still work with this actor after all this goes through. One studio is deciding to talk. The other one is remaining mum. The word is the one that's remaining mum is distancing themselves and looking to cut bait. So what is that? If that's true, what am I supposed to think about the studio that won't stop talking about their star? We'll see the Flash. We'll see what it's
if it's actually as good as they say it is.
Yeah, it's another one of those movies where it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's hard. It is really hard to tell, man. I don't take anything really from test screeners that are shown in-house. Like that just doesn't do anything for me.
As it shouldn't.
So in any case, we'll check it out and see if Ezra Miller's getting that Oscar.
We'll see. Moving on to Marvel, we've got two pretty big stories. Which one you want to talk about first? You want to talk about Blade or you want to talk about Fantastic Four?
Blade.
Okay. So Blade has been delayed because of the whole writer strike situation. supposedly.
Poor Mahershala.
Supposedly. My question to you is that you specifically have mentioned with the whole Wonder Man situation, and especially how that didn't look like it was going to be a thing for a while, that they should take Yahya and make him Blue Marvel. Similarly speaking, they only have a limited amount of time with Mahershala.
Hey, man, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. They haven't even started filming yet, and now the film is delayed indefinitely because of the writer's strike. This man was 48 years old when you introduced this movie. Mm-hmm. By the time that, well, I guess it depends on how long the writer's strike goes, but by the time that you guys finish filming this movie, let's say the writer's strike lasts another 2 to 3 months. By the time that you guys get back up filming and finish this man will be going on 52 years old. So it's just not fair to have an artist on the hook, or an actor on the hook that long. Because you better believe that if Mahershala Ali is signing up to be Blade for the MCU, he's definitely got one of those clauses in there, just like RDJ, just like Chris Evans, where he can't play another titular character like that. Mm-hmm. Where he can't be another superhero on somebody else's universe, or another genre character, something like that. He can't do it because he signed up to be Blade. So they've essentially locked this man up from other like A-list prominent roles that he could be taking. Mm-hmm. And y'all wasting time. We've had to fire 2 directors. Now we don't even have a writer. We haven't even started filming.
So my question is similar to your thoughts on Yahya moving from similar to Yahya moving on from Wonder Man potentially to Blue Marvel. Do you think that they should now maybe transition Mahershala into a different role and then maybe recast Blade, just because it's going to be a little sticky for them?
Okay, so I'm gonna pocket what they should do with Mahershala real fast because you brought up Yahya, and I knew I said I wasn't going to talk about Star Wars today, but quick little Star Wars nugget. So, the Rey movie that is supposedly happening from Lucasfilm in 2025 or whenever. Originally, before David Lindelof was fired, his original script was supposed to be 60 years from where the sequel trilogy left off. Rey was going to be an older version of herself, like that. They dropped the name Heather Mirren. You know what that is?
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of that age. And then she was going to be training a new Jedi, 2 new Jedis. One of them was going to be Yahya. That is the script that David Lindelof pitched to Disney, and that they commissioned him to make them. That's what they commissioned him for, was to make that movie. First of all, is that not infinitely better than what got announced at Disney's Star Wars Celebration? Second of all, maybe. Well, no, because I think they've already started casting for Wonder Man. I was thinking maybe Wonder Man was cover for him to star in the Star Wars film and just kind of keep it under lock.
No.
But no, it's happening. It's definitely happening. So he's probably just going to do both. He probably has something lined up with with Lucasfilm, and then obviously Wonder Man in the MCU. He's going to do both. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like Lucasfilm and Marvel sharing actors, especially if it's going to be somebody who's going to be in a prominent role on both sides.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, that is a little too close. If it's different universe, different studio, that's one thing. But like same company, adjacent studios.
At the same time?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would have liked that. Definitely would have liked to seen Yahya as a Jedi though, for sure. So much better than Daisley Ridley coming back 15 years post sequel trilogy. Jesus Christ, Kathleen. So back to your idea about Mahershala, maybe him moving on to Star Wars. Yes, please. Yes, please. You want to do a Mace Windu prequel series? Yes, please. Or Mace Windu had a long lost son and it's Mahershala Ali? Yes, please. Yes, or just Black Jedi in general? Yeah. Duh. Do something with him. He's been here since 2019. It's 4 years.
Hasn't done anything yet.
Hasn't done a thing. We don't have a script. We don't have a writer. Or at least we got to a script finally, and then now the writer is gone. They haven't even started shooting. They were set to start shooting in June. I know my boy Mahershala like, hey yo,
You know what I mean? Like, it would just make sense now to just be like, all right, let's take him, put him in something pivotal, and then recast that role.
and have somebody else play Blade.
Yeah.
I mean, but then how much confidence do you have in them getting the new project up and running? If they haven't been able to do anything for Blade, you know, how quickly are they going to be able to get whatever the replacement project is up and running?
At this point, I'm convinced they'll make another Howard the Duck movie before they make Blade.
Oh boy, Mahershala like, hey, look, man, I ain't gonna be able to run, jump, and skip too much longer like you think I'm gonna be able to.
Right.
You better use me while you can.
Something. Sheesh. The final story that I have is, so last week we talked about, or last week, 2 weeks ago, we talked about Adam Driver being seriously looked at for being Mr. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Now it seems like it's definitely a for sure thing that he's going to be Mr. Fantastic. And they may have also casted Sue.
Margot Robbie.
Yep.
I don't mind the Sue Storm, but also she is Harley Quinn and she is Barbie, and now she's Sue Storm.
Yeah, that's a lot of roles.
She's monopolizing the titular white girl roles in Hollywood.
She is
the titular white girl.
like,
I mean, look, I'm not gonna fight too hard over it. That's obviously not my demographic. So if you want some other, white women other than Margot Robbie, go ahead and sing your grievances. But it ain't gonna bother me all too much.
Maybe we should ask my brother and see what he thinks. No, oh yeah, she's the one. She's the one.
She is her.
Our resident expert on on the subject matter. Whew. Woo. Yikes. I'm keeping that in there, by the way.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, no, I just think it's interesting. I think Adam Driver is probably not the biggest name, but a big enough name.
And
I don't even think
you really needed a big name. You needed an accurate character fit. Which, I mean, look, if Adam Driver can do it, he can do it. He's going to have to prove it, though.
But if Margot Robbie is going to be your Sue Storm, then I'm at this point, I'm thinking you're going after names.
Sure. I mean, hey, look, we just got to see how it plays out. They haven't announced who's going to play the Thing. They haven't announced who's going to be Johnny Storm. They haven't officially announced Sue Storm or Reed Richards.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes of it. I don't know if Driver would have been my first choice for Reed Richards.
Who knows if that was theirs?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm definitely thinking they were thinking Penn Badgley was the way to go.
And he turned them down? That would be embarrassing.
I'm totally kidding.
So other than Blade, there's a whole boatload of shows that are being delayed right now.
No Marvel shows because they've been filmed already, right? The 2 shows at least?
Some of them have. See, I don't know. Because there was also a report that they're doing away with the Phase 4 writers, the writers that they had on staff for all of Phase 4. So I heard today that in the strike, while they're currently in a strike, that no one can be actively working. If you're part of the guild, you can't be actively working for a American studio right now until the strike is over. Mm-hmm. So, if that's the case, then, I mean, everything from NCIS to P-Valley should be kind of on hold right now. So, I don't think you'll see the effects of it immediately. Oh, but sure. As we get, further and further out and new things are supposed to be debuting or premiering, that's when you'll start feeling the effects of it.
It'll be like a mini pandemic.
Mm-hmm. This the writer's strike though raises up a even more interesting conversation though, which is probably the impetus to the strike in the first place, which is the innovation of AI, and how now movie studios are getting closer and closer to maybe having that replace some of the workload. We know everything's about efficiency when we're talking about corporate profit, so You know, my thing about it is that I know that AI is kind of inevitable. My problem though is that I guess we continue to advance AI for like to ease our lives, right? To make things in our lives easier. But I feel like where is the line? Like where does ease of access or comfortability become just start making yourself more desolate, like becoming just a more docile being?
I think that's a fair question to ask.
Because now we're seriously entertaining putting in computers into the arts, which is completely antithetical to that realm in general. To have a mathematically driven piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
it's weird.
The issue in obviously giving everything to AI is that everything creative and in the arts would need some sort of human touch to make it what it actually is. Otherwise, it's going to be bland and devoid of any.
That's at current state. So, what are we talking in 5 years when the AIs improve? Now we don't have to have writers.
I don't know how it's going to innovate. Like for example, I've used AI on like some of our thumbnails, but ultimately I am the one still creating the thumbnail. Like I'll use it to make like for the Kyle McCord and Devin Brown one, I used it to make a football field in the background.
So, okay, that's one thing, but this is even more intricate than that, because given certain parameters, they're using these AIs to write entire scripts. And so, yes, it may not be as good as what you would think you would get from an experienced human writer. Problem is, most of the shit that we see on TV today is not what we would expect to get from an experienced writer.
It's a really good point.
So now we're in this place of, oh, well, there's a need. The need is better content, right? And instead of the fix being, hey, let's hire good writers, let's just bypass them altogether. It's the story of AI. Let's bypass the improvements that need to be made for the individual in that position altogether and replace it with a computer. McDonald's, instead of paying their cashiers more, giving them better benefits, a retirement plan, maybe something like that, they would rather put kiosk in the middle of their store so they can have 2 less cashiers or 2 less fry cooks in the back, and you can put all your orders in the front, and it'll send it straight back to them, so they don't have to have 3 or 4 people sitting up there at the register every day.
Yeah.
So instead of paying the writers more or hiring good writers or having some sort of qualification for you getting these multi-million-dollar budgets when you're making these movies, no, screw it. We'll just have a computer do it and pay you less to come and touch it up.
Yeah. To provide a interesting anecdote and to kind of bring it back to the whole writers thing. So I told you earlier this week that I had entered in an AI prompt that basically wrote a smaller selection of a Snowfall episode where Franklin gets his money back. But all it could do was kill Franklin each time I tried to reword it to like make it do something else. Every single thing ended up with Franklin dying. That is not the only prompt that I put into the AI.
That's racist!
That's not the only AI prompt I gave it. Interestingly enough, I asked it to write me a script for Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Whoa.
Where T'Challa doesn't pass.
Ooh, how did that go?
It went a lot better. It went a lot better. If you would like to see, make sure you comment in the comment prompts.
I'll be interested to see that.
I asked it to do that and give me a post-credit scene. Now, it couldn't nail the post-credit scene that I was actually kind of looking for, but it's got some little ways to get there. It did what I wanted it to do, but if you want to actually see what we did, feel free to let us know.
Ultimately, I don't see. Well, this could end up turning against the studios as well, because now, okay, if the AIs are running the script and you need people to come in and put the human touch on it and fix the quirks, Well, now whatever the standard fee for a writer writing an entire script was, that market is completely turned on its head, and it's now the writers who can determine what the market is.
Yeah.
To put those finishing touches, because who's fine tuning AI for Hollywood movie scripts today? Absolutely fucking no one. It is a uninvented market that will be created by the writers that you disaffect by bringing AI into the industry anyways. So they really are at a bit of a standoff, because even if they do that, okay, cool, we'll pay the writers a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We'll use this AI. Well, if the AIs are creating the script and the writers are coming in to fine tune the script, why do you need so many producers now? I mean, there's not so much need for creative input or anything like that. You don't need 17 producers now. You need 3 or 4 big ones to help finance the film, and then let's get on with it. Now, you've traded off your problem with the writers for whatever the executive, the producers guild, or whatever the hell their group is. Mm-hmm. So it's really an interesting thing with me, but I feel that, first of all, I know for a fact that there's a higher power, and it's not even necessarily because of some, ultra religious take that I have, but humans are the only species on this planet that I know of that will intricately create their own demise. Be that in global warming, be that in wars, nuclear bombs, artificial intelligence. We have the intelligence to foresee how our innovations will lead to our demise. We'll write books about them. We'll make TV shows and movies. It's littered through our literature throughout centuries. Mm-hmm. Literally, how the downfall of mankind could be our thirst and our greed for innovation and ascension. Mm-hmm. And here we are trying to replace writers with computers, with AI.
Yeah.
That's about it, man. Give us your thoughts on anything discussed here today. DC, Marvel, Dune. Make sure you, what was that? AI. Yeah. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week for another episode of House of Vio Behind the Cape.
Absolutely. And make sure you check out our previous video that we did about the Super Mario Brothers movie. And make sure that you subscribe. Obviously, like you said, we like to do this every week.